Hello and welcome to a new video, and today's video we're going to take a look at the newly released Duraludon. And I had to wait until my morning, 10 AM. Of course, some other might be able to go through the raids, but I wanted to take a look at this Pokemon in the Open Great League. The only way of getting this done is actually there are two ways. You can get this Pokemon currently from quests. Those quests are very difficult to do. You're going to have quests that you can find currently in the wild, where you're going to have to do 3 Dynamax raids in order to get an encounter with the Duraludon. By the way, again, if you still wonder, if you haven't watched my last video, why my setup is so scuffed around this video generally, my PC is broken. I put water on top of it. I still have no idea what's happening with that thing until, I don't know, maybe later today. So yeah, currently sadly I have to record on my laptop, and with that it's just a little bit worse than usual, so sorry about that. Anyway, yeah, Duraludon. You have the quest that you can get currently in the wild, where you can get this Pokemon by doing 3 Dynamax raids. You can get this Pokemon itself in Dynamax raids as well. So at the end of the day, if you want to do Duraludon Dynamax raids anyway to get this Pokemon itself, which by the way has a very, very strong evolution that's coming up eventually in the game, not currently, we don't know yet when that's going to be the case, then definitely try to get this one. So yeah, generally, Duraludon, interesting Pokemon. Again, it's also, by the way, available as a shiny. It's of course in Dynamax raids, which a lot of people are kind of more like interested in anyway. It is going to have a Gigantamax form eventually as well. The evolution doesn't, which is like hilarious. Like the pre-evolution has a Gigantamax form, the evolution will not have that one. So yeah. Anyway, we're going to see here, by the way, a very interesting team. Here, this opponent just played with me. Cool. They could have knocked me out like ages ago, but they didn't want to. But yeah, we're going to have an interesting team here. We can talk a little bit about it as well. We're going to have Dusknoir in the lead. It's going to be our premier answer for, I guess, like ground-type Pokemon. Generally, it's a good generalist. I need to have a Pokemon that can answer Annihilate, and that's why I kind of had this Pokemon. But because I wanted to make a video already about Dusknoir ages ago, but never came around to do it, I actually had Poltergeist on this Pokemon. I knew that before going into the battles that I would have Poltergeist on it, but I was like, why not? We have a showcase here for a Pokemon that, spoiler alert, is not seemingly that great for PvP. Anyway, so why not have some fun? And I had a lot of fun with Poltergeist on this Pokemon. I think Poltergeist was a fun move to run on Dusknoir. There are so many people who didn't really expect it and then got surprised by a hard-hitting nuke move. So that's a little bit of an extra for today's video. Because like, a lot of times people complain as well when I bring in some more bulky toxic teams, which I did recently as well. Again, one video towards it was like, why do we showcase it? Because it's a channel for you guys. Like, a lot of people are out there struggling, not really knowing what to run. A lot of times for people, it is an option to just go for a little bit more things that are a bit easier to play, a little bit more annoying to deal with. But like, it is a valid strategy. So yes, sorry, I'm going to showcase any kind of strategy here like on this channel. It's not just down to I'm gonna build the most creative teams and that's it. I am doing this channel for you guys at the end of the day. I want you to climb. And if a toxic team is currently a lot of play and has a lot of good strategies thrown it, then I'm going to showcase a toxic team even though it's toxic, because I want you guys to succeed. That is my mission on this channel. Anyway, we were very close in this battle here as well against Raging Test, by the way, a player that I know from ages ago still. Yeah, cool. I didn't even know that they were still playing. Lost there barely, but that's fine. But yeah, here I wanted to showcase again on why maybe Poltergeist is actually such a cool move that people just kind of underestimate. Let's take a look at this one here real quick. Poltergeist coming through. The opponent is going to decide to let the move go. It's not going to one-shot them straight away. We're going to be able to just use a shield here on a potential, like, mostly a Brave Bird, exactly. But we're going to be able to knock them out in a surprising manner, which the opponent didn't really expect, I think, at this point. And so we are going to be in our right spot. We're going to have now the Ferret against, yeah, our Fortress. Shadow Fortress is going to be generally a good Pokemon here. Shadow Fortress is there, by the way, in order to bait out those ground-type Pokemon. I want to have something that still can deal with ground-type Pokemon, the Steel-type, but I want to kind of keep the Duraludon safe, because of course it's going to be a showcase for Duraludon. So, let's see if Duraludon can do something here, because what we will see is that the opponent decides to use a shield here against a Sand Tomb, and with that we're going to have everything basically perfectly set up for the Duraludon sweep. We can farm them down, and they have the Credilli in the back. And of course, they're not going to enjoy this matchup until they're forfeited straight away. Into the next matchup, we're going to have a horrible matchup, but we're actually kind of well prepared, and I actually swap out this time around into the Duraludon because I think that my other Pokemon, the Fortress, is the better answer to the Guzzlord. And I want to see what they have in the back, and here, this is the biggest weakness of this team. It is Corviknight. Corviknight I encountered so many times. I encountered so many Bastions as well. And both of those Pokemon are very tough for this team to deal with. I have no clear Basti answer, which you kind of need to have. Like, I have double super effective damage with Sand Tomb, a move that is non-step and barely does any damage on its own anyway on Fortress, which gets one-shot by a Flamethrower from it. So, yeah, like, there's not really a lot of play that I have here, sadly. So, it was a bit of a tougher one. We're going to see, though, the Ice Punch coming through against the Dusknoir. We're going to be able to predict that there's some out of there. And here's, by the way, where I feel like Dusknoir with a move of Poltergeist is actually really good. I do think, though, it's better as a closer. I ended up a lot of times in scenarios in the lead where I wish I would have had a little bit of a cheaper fast move. And scenarios against, for example, Shadow Scissor. Against Shadow Scissor, you kind of want to have a cheap charge move there because you actually outspeed them with a Shadow Punch, which makes the matchup quite a solid one for the Dusknoir. I don't have that option anymore. I don't have that option here by going for the Poltergeist instead. So yeah, here for example, Scissor as well. I had a lot of energy. I can't use it the way I would have usually used it, and with that, I have no chance here. I would have started Night Slash. I would have been able to go for 3 Shadow Punches most likely against the opponent if I would have had just the move. So yeah, there are up and downs to the Dusknoir's moveset here as well, which of course is kind of more obvious. Ice Punch being the cheapest move now is a bit tricky, especially when they catch it on a Fortress. But again, I do enjoy still the Poltergeist. I think Poltergeist was still a lot of fun to run. And we're going to see it here again. We're going to be able to reach a Poltergeist in time. Are they going to use a shield or not? I am curious. This is going to get no shielded. And with that, the opponent took a super hard hitting damage. This is a cool thing here. You have, like, that's basically something that you rarely have, is a bulky Pokemon that has great fast move energy generation, basically, that gets to a super hard hitting move. You have it with Digger Speed, kind of with the Hyper Beam, which you then again need way longer to get to still, and it's not as great as a Poltergeist is. You just don't really have it on bulky Pokemon that you have like those really crazy nuke moves. And so I really appreciated to see it here on this Pokemon where it actually has some play. Anyway, Duraludon actually was a very solid answer though for me for Bastion, and like from my team, this was my favorite Bastion answer, which doesn't mean that this makes the matchup great by any means, but it's still something to note. At least here we're going to have the Flash Cannon now, which is going to be great. But yeah, as you see as well, they're going to have here the Dusknoir in the back, the Marek in the back against our Dusknoir, is what I want to say. And of course, we don't have enough to get to 3 Ice Punches against them here at this point. Like, there's no way that we would be able to reach it in time. And so we're going to move on to the next opponent. We will have a great lead actually for us. We're going to have the Hypno against us. That's going to be a lead where we're going to have, of course, Shadow Punch, which would have helped us, but they're going to sub onto the Emporion. I meme a little bit. I wanted to see if they go for the no shield. I was hoping they would just let me know, go for the knockout here. But as you're going to see, they sadly don't do that. I am swapping out into my Duraludon. And with that, I have just not really a great position for myself. I am going to be able to go for the shield here, though. And with that, I am going to, have the Hydro Cannon coming through. I'm going to try to go for my Dragon Claw. This is going to be very, very tough for me. This is going to allow me to get the KO. And in comes now the Hypno. And as we see, they're going to be able to farm us down. I don't know what they have, though. Do they have the Fire Punch? Do they have the Shadow Ball? By the way, Hypno is on the list of Pokemon I want to still showcase as well. Because the last time I showcased this Pokemon, I had a lot of fun with it, but I didn't even have the right moveset because I didn't have charge TMs. Because I was at the regional in Frankfurt, where, you know, by the way, get charge TMs from stops, I was able to get a ton of them. And with that, I can actually finally showcase the Hypno the way I wanted to. There's, by the way, a ginormous list of Pokemon and team ideas and whatever that I want to still showcase on the channel. Of course, didn't help that my PC died, but I have a lot still planned, so I would really appreciate it if you could check real quick. Are you subscribed or not to the channel? I have a lot to come for you. Like, I have a lot of ideas, a lot of things I want to showcase to you. Would really appreciate it. Anyway, we're going to see the Hypno is sadly going to knock us out. Well deserved, to be fair. It is what it is. We're going to see the KO here, and we can move on to the next opponent, where we will face, the Scissor. Scissor is going to be an interesting pick. Scissor is going to swap out now into the Azumarill. That's alright, I guess. I actually, by the way, what do you think is the best moveset on the Hypno? I'm just thinking about it right now as well on the side. Being like, Psyshock is great on it. I want to have Psyshock on it as well. But what other move do you do for coverage? Do you go for Shadow Ball, which is going to allow you to be just, again, a very nice neutral one? Or do you go one for the Elemental Punches? I think Thunder Punch is mostly the best move to go for on the one, but let me know down below what you think. Anyway, we're going to see the Azumarill matchup, which is going to be a matchup where you can go for the Rock Tomb. And honestly, this is kind of a solid way of playing that, because this is going to allow us to get the drop onto them. We're going to be able to now move on and see the Bastion coming in, and we're going to get the drop onto them as well here. Again, Bastion was on basically every single one. It was ridiculous on how many Bastion there were. I had so many Bastions against me, and this is of course going to change on how you kind of play against the opponents. Like, it's going to be just a little bit more tougher for you to do anything with it. And so here, as you're gonna see, this is going to be the no shield coming in. This is going to be the Night Stitch still. It's kind of the best way of us playing. But again, where is our Shadow Punch? We don't have anything like that. And with that, we are just going to be in a very, very tough spot. This is very, very tough here for us, as you're going to see. We're going to shield this move up. And as you see, Night Stitch is going to get shielded. We only have the Ice Punch here. This is not ideal whatsoever. It is just very, very tough, as we're going to have here now the Bastion coming in. There's no way we're going to be able to get to 2 Poltergeists in time, especially when the opponent was able to just go ahead and get to the charge move here right now. There's no way we're going to outspeed them. So sadly, we're going to lose this battle here. Or are we? I am not too sure about that, because what we see here is that the opponent just doesn't go for a charge move, and it's a CMP tie on to the Poltergeist, and Poltergeist actually comes in clutch, knocking out that Bastion and winning us this battle here. So Duraludon has a fantastic type for sure, but it just doesn't have any good cheap move. Basically, it doesn't have good cheap move. It doesn't have the coverage that you really want to have as well on it. Like, Steel types is a pretty awkward, because Steel typing itself is not really a great offensive move. You see it on Bullet Punch though, on Scissor, where it can still work, but it's mainly just neutral. It's like you only have like basic Credilli in the middle that you hit for super effective. That's basically it. But just because Scissor's fast move pressure is so insane anyway, because of the attack stat and the stab and the shadow bonus on it, that's why this Pokemon is great, not because of the typing of the Steel types. And there's just no great Steel type charge move currently. There's just really no good Steel type charge move, and with that, we just have the issue here with Duraludon that we don't have a great coverage. Flash Cannon is the best move here on it. Flash Cannon got nerfed several times because of Registeel, and with that, it's just not really a great move anymore at all. And so sadly, it is just not really looking too great for us here. As we see here, the Bastion is going to get farmed down from us. That's great for us. We can go for the swap out here to catch the charge move here from the Corviknight. It's just going to be, I think, the Air Cutter exactly. But we kind of running out of health. I actually do think I could have played this battle a little bit better though. Then you know already about my Poltergeist, I think, at this point. I'm going to use a shield here though. And with that, I actually can at least pressure some shields from the opponent. I can go up to the Poltergeist and go for the Ice Punch. Ice Punch is going to be my best other move to go for. And again, if we had Shadow Punch, we actually would be able to just do way more random, way more useful meta. But what I actually should have done here is, I should have went ahead and went for 2 Ice Punches here. I should just went straight for my next Ice Punch afterwards straight away. Because then I maybe would have put the opponent to range for 1 Flash Cannon, which I would be able to still get here if I just would have stopped out then straight away. I think that maybe it would have been enough to knock out the Steelix. Could have maybe won us the battle. There still was the other Pokemon in the back with a few HP, like I think Corviknight was. I don't know. I think I could have had a bit of a chance there, but it is what it is. Here, I just got scared. Because this is going to be a Charger Bug, which is going to allow... Yeah, it's going to have this touch here. This Charger Bug recently is mainly running the move of Crunch on it, which I was still a little bit scared with my Ghost Type in the lead. That's why I decided to swap out of there. At the end of the day, this is not really something that, we should have done there. But anyway, we're going to see at the top. We're going to see here, and if we go us going into the Duraludon, this is going to allow us to still take the Nightshade. We, of course, don't want to take the Nightshades on our lead, which is a Ghost Type, which would do super effective damage. So, as we will see, Dragon Claws coming in. This is going to be the KO coming through as well. We're going to have now the Ice Punches against Credilli, which is kind of alright. And the cool thing as well, I still have the option to clear my debuff there as well with the swap into the Duraludon later. So this is going to be honestly an interesting scenario for us. We can still try to do our best and go for another Ice Punch, but as you can see here, we're going to use the shield. This is going to be the Rock Tomb coming in, and we have now another Ice Punch to try to stall the clock even. We have to see that the opponent is going to use the shield, or if they're going to swap out here, they decide to stay in and they go for another charge move, forcing me to go for another shield here as well. This is so difficult though, because as you can see, they are swap out into the charge bug. They're still going to do some damage, but is it going to be enough damage? This is like the difficulty there as well. It's not going to be enough damage. I can go for the swap out here. I was hoping I would catch the move, but I couldn't, and with that, the opponent can just go for the charge move and win the battle with it. So yeah, this is what it is. Let's move on to the final battle for the day. if you're still here, I just really appreciate it. Thanks so much. I really, really appreciate it. I just think that, of course, Duraludon is not the Pokemon that you want to play. I have other teams that I really want to go ahead and showcase on this channel though, so hopefully I can still showcase another team later today, or it's going to be a top team video for the Great League. We see on what I'm going to do there. Stay tuned for sure. Again, I have a lot of interesting things coming up there for this channel, so definitely stay tuned for that. Anyway, we're going to see the full farm down here. In comes the Charizard. I feel like Duraludon would have been better before the season change, by the way. I think with a harder hitting Dragon Tail and the Dragon Claw being cheaper, this Pokemon actually would have had a lot of play. And now it just doesn't. Like, it just with the recent season change just completely destroyed this Pokemon. It's kind of what it is. It needs a different moveset. It completely needs a different moveset in order to have any chance. And so, yeah, it is what it is. As you're going to see here, we're going to have the opponent going for their charge move with their, what's called Pangoro. Interesting Pokemon, that's all I can say towards that. But we're going to try to catch the move. It doesn't work out. And as we see here already, we just kind of get walled most of the times. There's not really a lot that we can do there. This is what it is. This is going to be the first video as well. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to leave a like. You don't need to run it. You really don't. And yeah, see you then. Bye-bye.